Fáilte Rómha Cáide, welcome indeed to another edition of the Irish at Home and Abroad. Now, just to remind you later on in the programme, we'll be crossing over to Manchester to join Martin Logan, who's out and about once again with the Irish community in the UK. Well, the first ever Celtic Camino festival, bringing the Camino to Ireland, is being held this weekend in Hotel Westport. And we're here to find out more about it and to speak to some of the participants and the organisers. Joe, as one of the organising committee, what's happening here this weekend in Mayo?
Well, as you know, the festival has been organised by the Camino Society Ireland, which is an Irish association to promote the Camino of Santiago. So, and we're having our first Celtic Camino festival in Mayo to support pilgrim paths in Ireland and ancient routes along the way, which ultimately will lead to Santiago in Spain.
And what's planned for the weekend here now?
Well, the weekend started last night with the showing of the feature-length film that was produced by Donal O'Kellicourt from Anu Films about the voyage of the Naval Natinta, or the Curragh of the tents, because the lads slept in tents along the way down. And it's about the voyage of St. Gubnat, which was a handmade curragh made in the Dingle Peninsula, brought to Dublin, lowered literally into the River Liffey and rowed all the way without any engine power whatsoever through 3 years to Santiago. And it arrived in A Coruña, which is again the starting point for the Celtic Camino. And then this feature film was on last night, so that was the start of the festival. We had a packed theatre in the W Cinema last night. Literally, they were sitting on the floor, and it was very, very warmly received. It was a great night. And now today we have speakers talking about the history of the Camino and the Irish connections, which are actually fascinating and a real eye-opener from the historical point of view. We've also then got speakers from A Coruña itself, which is the traditional start of what they call in Spain the Camino Inglés, because they don't differentiate between Irish and English. But after a couple of years, I'm sure they'll know what the Celtic Camino is, and we might be getting them to rename it. But and then we've got John Burley, who's a very famous author of English guidebooks, and he's going to speak to us. And as well as that, then we've got a panel discussion in the afternoon, again with a number of well-known Camino personalities. So we've got John Rafferty, and we've got a panel of interesting guests.
And then tomorrow, then there's a walk. Then
yes,
well,
tomorrow we're doing a walk from Bal,
which is the old pilgrim path.
The old pilgrim path. So. I'm reliably informed by Jim McNicholas, who's the main man in terms of organising this, and he's a native of Bal. Jim tells us that the ancient route runs from Downpatrick to the Reek. And about 9 years ago, Jim took us all from Bal, a group of us, and we walked along that route, which is now the Crowpatrick Heritage Trail. And then we got as far as Ballintubber, and we took up the Toher Porrick. And we're repeating that portion of that tomorrow with the intention that the maybe 300 people who are going to do the walk, and possibly more at this stage, that they will each, if they want to, receive a Compostela to say that they have completed the Celtic Camino, so that they can then go to A Coruña and start their Camino and walk then into Santiago to get a full Compostela.
John, you've written extensively about the Camino walk. How did you get involved?
I had the classic existential midlife crisis. There I am, 40 years old, got everything I'm supposed to have, 2.2 children, my detached house, the businessman, everything's there, but my life was totally empty. And I knew I had to take time out to reflect on what it was all about, what needed to happen. I knew change needed to happen. And it was during that year away that I freed up space and I discovered the Caminos to Santiago. And of course, they are one of their great gifts is to take time out away from the familiar in order to explore the big questions of life Who am I? Where am I going? Why did I come here? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Because that's what the Caminos are. They're a path of inquiry. The inquiry being those big, deeper issues about our life, where we came from, where we're going to. And of course, along the route, then you meet people who are also questioning, asking those big questions. So we've all got permission to ask those deeper questions rather than the sort of superficial surface things about, you know, where you went to school. I mean, you might get that too, but there's permission to go deep into the bigger perspectives of life.
Rio, what's your interest in the Camino walk? What brings you here?
Well, not only is it in the beautiful Mayo, and what kind of a country girl will I be if I'm not promoting my own, but I had the privilege of walking the full Camino, so the Francis Way, in 2016, right after my Rose year of 2014-2015, and it was my gift to myself. So I took off for 30 days and was so proud of myself because I never got a blister, which just goes to show you how many high heels I wore throughout my Rose year. And I fell in love with it, and haven't returned quite yet, but do a lot of the Irish trails. So looking forward to participating this weekend and just getting back into the Pilgrim Way.
And would you recommend people to do this particular Camino walk, and if so, why?
Well, for sure. I mean, there's so many ways a part of the way, but it allows you can do shorter trips, you can do the longer trip like I had done. I had met a group of people who had walked from France, and they were doing the 3-month pilgrimage walk. But here in Ireland, it's just on our doorstep. It is not only an opportunity to be reflective, and you can really get to know whether you're walking with someone that you've known or you've just met, whether you're walking with yourself and you're carrying a few pebbles of just hardship and you just want to release them. And it's a lovely way to just give yourself time, the gift of time.
And what do you think now of this connection now, the Irish connection with the Camino walk, and particularly here in Mayo, and it can be part of your walk now as well?
Yeah, I think there's so many different facets to, dare I say the word tourism, but Mayo, there's so much beauty and depth to this county, and indeed country. And I'm delighted that out of the 7 walks, pilgrim walks in Ireland, 2 are found in our beloved Mayo, which is phenomenal. It just goes to show you the rich heritage that we have. And not just through Catholicism, but indeed times of walking, people taking to the land and just making it their own and giving it the time. So it's beautiful. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to add such a different facet to who we are.
Well, you've done the Camino walk. What's actually involved in it?
Well, the Camino, there are many Caminos, but the main Camino is the Camino Francais. So you walk from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in the Pyrenees to Santiago, 710 kilometres away. It possibly takes a month, but people do it in stages. People do a day or a week or 2 weeks, or people do a week this year, a week next year, a week the year after, and they do the journey. And it's a great experience. It's an experience of personal discovery. That's a bit of a cliche, but until you go and do that, you don't realise how much of a personal experience it is. And it is very hard to describe to people because everyone's journey is personal. And everyone that I've met on Camino gets their own personal experience out of it. And they're all the better for it. And I suppose one of the experiences, the people you meet along the way from all corners of the world, that they will talk to you about their issues and what they do. It doesn't matter who you are. You're John from Ireland and you're Frank from America, or you're Pierre from France. It doesn't really matter. You are just who you are, and that's a leveler for everyone. So the people you meet along the way, the shared experiences, the penance, and penance is a way as well, because it can be quite difficult, and it gives people a sense of how far you can push yourself, and you get a great sense of achievement from that.
And how did the Camino festival end up in County Mayo, or indeed the walk?
Yeah, well, I suppose there's a number of elements that has brought it to that. Mayo, we're a fantastic county with so much to offer, and we're trying to do a lot in terms of promoting our county as being an attractive county to come and do lots of things, and walking and heritage and history and pilgrimage is all very much part of that. And for us, we have Knock, we have Crowpatrick, we have Ballintubber, all of those, and Ballintubber Abbey, we have all of those. And we have a trail that extends all the way now from Knock through to Ballintubber Abbey and onwards to the Crowpatrick, and it's an 81 kilometre distance trail. We also have the Tóthar Pádraig, which Father Fahy does a lot of guided walks on as well, and it's a really well established trail. So for us, we feel, because we have those and we have the unique selling asset of Knock and Ballintubber Abbey and Crowpatrick, we feel you know, it was a no-brainer to try and promote that. So when we go to tourism trade shows, again, we promote the county as a whole, but we really do emphasise those natural assets and pilgrimage and religious sites. But when we were attending the Dublin Holiday World Show actually last year, we met with a member of the Camino Society of Ireland, and he's actually originally from Mayo and actually originally from Bal, which is directly along the trail. And he said to me, I'd love to do a Camino conference in Mayo. And my ears opened, and I said, yeah, sure, it's perfect for it. We have the trails, we have the sites. It would be fantastic to host something of that scale here in Mayo. So here we are this weekend. Hotel Westport is HQ first. We have in excess of 200 people, delegates here over the whole course of the weekend with an action-packed schedule. But what's really great is people are actually going to get out and they're going to experience the trail, both the Croagh Patrick Heritage Trail, the Torr Porrick. Father Fahy is going to say Mass in Ballintubber Abbey, and then they're going to finish with in Killawalla, where they'll actually get a stamp to say that they've done 25 kilometres of our Mayo trails. And what's really, really important for us is that 2 of our trails are recognised Camino-type trails.
Well, it's time for us to take a break. Join us again in a couple of minutes in part 2. See you then. Fulcher, you're very welcome back to part 2 of the programme. Well, we're off to Claremorris now to join up with a popular country singer called Small Tom, who's celebrating 30 years in the music business.
Well, Tom, I'm delighted to be associated with this tribute to you tonight. Known you for quite a number of years, and you've always been a gentleman. Tom comes from a place called Garrymore, just a great football area in the County Mayo, a few miles from Claremorris. And Tom is always at home on the stage. He always has been, in fact, and it's something that he feels so natural about and brings a lot of joy, and has brought a lot of joy to many people. Tom is also a very good neighbour, a very kind neighbour, and very, very good to some of the older folk in that area, as I do know over the years. He's also a great man to fix a radio or a television, one of the best. Tom loves country music, and indeed he has met his idol many, many times over the years, the great Big Tom McBride from Oran in Castleblaney. So tonight, as ye salute Small Tom from Mayo, I'm delighted to have this opportunity to wish him well, to wish him good health in the times ahead, and to thank him for being just Small Tom. Best luck to you, Tom.
You're MC for this great night tonight.
That's right, I'm looking forward to it. Great to see the crowd coming in, a mighty night, and this lovely luxurious hotel here, the Western Hotel in the heart of Claremorris. I've worked with Tom for the last 30 years, and he's a truly gentleman.
Eamon, you've a long association with Small Tom.
Indeed I have, yes. I know Small Tom a long number of years, and a very amenable character and very nice fella. He always has a word for everybody, and he has, no matter what you go talking about, he's able to talk back to you about it, and he'll give you plenty of guff as well. Here we go.
Matthew, you're very welcome to the programme. It's really happening for you now at the moment. Just launched a new band.
That's correct. Thanks for having me, first of all. And it's always been my dream since I was in nappies, you could say, to follow my country music dream and launch my own country dance band in Ireland. And we launched it in the Macmillan Park just on the 15th of May last. And we had a great night, and with all the acts that joined me as well on stage, of Jerry Guthrie and T.R. Dallas and Carmen McLaughlin and all the greats. And we had a great night, a packed house, and as I said, it was always my dream to put a band on the road, and now I have it, and we'll do our best with it, and hopefully tour nationwide and beyond, hopefully. And
what did it feel like to have a band behind you now?
It's fantastic. You can't really just put it into words. Once you get up there, you're a different person. You could be at home, you're one person. Once you get on stage, it's electric, and I'm really enjoying it.
Mick, great to see you here tonight. You're here to support Small Tom.
Yeah, sure, he's a great guy, and it's nice to be able to pulled the band together for the night to play a few tunes for him. She's a great bit of stuff, you know, great local man, and he enjoys the music more than myself and does it for the right reason, and he's great.
Yeah, and you would have come across him over the years at different functions.
Indeed, he would, of course, at different functions. Sure, you know, he can pop up anywhere. He has written his own songs, and he's a character of his own making. He's brilliant. I enjoy to meet him on or off the stage. He's great.
Yeah. Mick, you brought out an album recently. It's going extremely well for you.
It's going grand. You know, it has done better than I had expected, if you like, and gets a good bit of airplay on local stations and the internet stations, which is always pleasing. It's a nice hobby, come pastime, come recreation, whatever you call it. You know.
Mike, you've been involved in the music business a long time. How far can you remember back?
Possibly nearly 50 years, I'd say.
And you're one of the best known drummers in County Mayo. Do you remember your first gig?
And I don't know if we're talking about the best known drummers, but I would put down that as being right. But I remember the first gig in Bell, in the dance hall in Bell. It was for a Macron and a Fermadou. And there was a huge crowd in the hall. And we brought in the gear, and the curtains was pulled across at the time. So there was myself, Tom McHale, and Vincent Welch. And all the sound that we had that night was from a rhythm guitar and the kit of drums. The bass guitar didn't work.
No.
And they were pulling back the curtains to see when we were going to start, and we were trying to get the bass guitar going, but it didn't go. But the three of us started off, and no one knew anything. And we got through the night, and it was a great night. Everyone out dancing.
You've done a lot of drumming since that as well. And who are the other bands you played with over the years?
I played with a great Mick Cuff. Mick Cuff was a fantastic singer.
And comedian.
And a fantastic comedian. Yeah. And
you spent a lot of years with him.
I enjoyed every minute with that man.
Yeah.
I played a lot with him for 25 years.
Wow.
And I'll tell you one thing, I could laugh the last night as I did the first night. Brilliant man.
More recently now, you've teamed up with a great country singer here in County Mayo now, Mick Mulhern.
Well, I do play in that time. I don't play all the time with him, the very odd time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just that I'm with him tonight.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. I don't know when I'll be with that man again. It could be a long time, because there isn't much. Yeah. I just usually have another drummer sometimes.
But you kept busy drumming all the time anyway.
Well, I'm drumming at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I could remain, for I know it will be some long, long time before I see you again. So
Tom, great to have you on the programme. A big night tonight here in Claremorris.
Oh, a big night, Henry. Thanks for arranging this for me. Be a great night. It's unfortunately collided with the death of the great Big Tom. Just by a few days.
It's left up to Small Tom
now,
is it?
Yeah, it's left up to Small Tom now, carry the can, yeah.
Yeah. And how did this whole name and showbiz tie up together with you?
I don't know. I was in plays in national school, and I was in plays in secondary school with Gary Moore. And I started writing songs and singing songs and commentating in football matches. And I just decided, someone said, how are you, Small Tom? And that name stayed on me. Yeah, Small Tom waited on me since that.
And it stuck with you all these years?
So if you were around Claremorris and you're looking for Tom Hughes, they say the Small Tom. Yep, that's it.
Yeah. And how did you get involved in the music business?
I don't know, I was always dabbling doing fundraisers and that, and then I seen an audition for the Lord Shearer. There was 8 and 9 for auditioning it, and they picked 9 of us. So I was one of the 9. So I got down to the last 3 in the Lord Shearer, yeah. Never that, I'm always doing bits and pieces like that and writing songs. Wrote a song about me own winning All Ireland, but they didn't win it. And before I got from the Cusick stand to the care, I had another one written about them losing it. I ended up in the Dalton Inn singing about Bruce Shield that night, about 1 o'clock in the morning. What happened to Mayo team? The end of Small Tom's dream, yeah.
And Tom, of course, apart from singing, you're a farmer.
Farmer and repairing TVs and VCRs and all that. But there's not much repairing for them now, you see, this gone out the window. And a kind of a gentleman farmer. I even wrote a song about a small farmer. He had 200 acres of land, but he was only 5 foot tall, but he was a small farmer.
Yeah. And did that go well for you, that song?
Oh, it did, yeah. It did.
Could you give us a bar of it? Do you remember it?
I can't go over it. I am a small farmer, I've been farming all of my life. I am a small farmer and I haven't got a wife. I have 300 cattle, every breed and pedigree. I am a small farmer, as you all can see. I am a small farmer, sure I'm only 5 foot tall.
Very good.
And he has a great love of country music. We wish him well tonight. I'm delighted to be here as part of this. So ladies and gentlemen, would you put your hands together, give a big warm welcome on stage to Small Tom. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I suppose you could call this my signature tune, Walk Tall. So it goes something like this. Want to see you all dancing now, right? Woo! Walk tall, walk straight and look the world right in the eye. That's what my mama told me when I was about behind. She said, son, be a proud man and hold your head up high. Walk tall, walk straight and look the world right in the eye. All through the years that I grew up, God taught these things to me. But I was young and foolish then and much too blind to see. I ignored the things she said as if I'd never heard. Now I see and understand the wisdom of her word. Walk tall, walk straight and look the world right in the eye. That's what my mama told me when I was about the eye. She said, son, be a proud man, hold your head up high. Walk tall, walk straight and look the world right in the eye. I got in trouble with the law and I'm in prison now. Through these prison bars I see things so much different now. I've got 1 year left to serve and when my time is done, I'll walk tall and straight and make my proud to call me son. Walk tall, walk straight and look the world right in the eye. That's what my mama told me when I was about the eye. She said, son, be a proud man, hold your head up high. Walk tall, walk straight and look